Hello everybody, welcome you all in this online edu classes for Brilliant Public School Class 8 Social Science. Here I am with the video for Chapter 2 of Geography, Land, Soil, Water, Natural Vegetation and Wildlife Resources. This is the second part of the video. This video is presented before you by Meenakshi Pandey. Let us now begin with the learning. Soil, the thin layer of grainy substance covering the surface of the earth, is called soil. It is very closely linked to land, and the landform determines the type of soil. Soil is made up of organic matter, minerals, and weathered rocks found on the earth. This happens through the process of weathering. The right mix of mineral and organic matter makes the soil fertile. Do you know that it takes hundreds of years to make just 1 centimeter of soil? Now, we are going to learn about the soil profile. When we talk about the soil profile, the very top soil, it is with humus and the vegetation cover. Then the second layer is the subsoil. The subsoil has sand, silt and clay in it. When we talk about the third layer, that is the weathered rock material, and the fourth layer is the parent rock. In fact, the major factors for the soil formation are the nature of the parent rock and the climatic factors. So now let us see that what are the factors that affects the soil formation. There are certain factors which, like topography, role of organic material and time taken for the composition of soil formation. All these differ from place to place. When we talk about the parent rock determines the color, texture, chemical properties, mineral content and permeability of the soil. When we talk about the relief features, altitudes and slope, they determine the accumulation of the soil. The flora, fauna and microorganisms affect the rate of humus formation, and in the similar manner, the time determines the thickness of the soil profile. The climate, temperature and rainfall influences the rate of weathering and humus formation. So here we end up with the soil profile or the factors by which the soil is formed. We are going to now learn about the degradation of soil and conservation measures. When we talk about the degradation, soil erosion and depletion are the major threats to soil as a resource. Both human and natural factor can lead to degradation of soil. Factors which lead to soil degradation are deforestation, overgrazing, overuse of chemical fertilizers or pesticides, rainwash, landslides and flood. Some methods of soil conservation are as follow. When we talk about the soil conservation, mulching. Mulching is the process through which we can conserve the soil. Under this process, the bare ground between the plant is covered with a layer of organic matter like straw. It helps to retain the moisture in the soil. When we talk about the contour barriers are made using the stone, grass, soil is bind. Trenches are made in front of the barriers to collect the water. Next one is the rock dam. The rock dams are the condition where the rocks are piled up to slow down the flow of water. This prevents gullies and further soil loss. Terrace farming. Terrace farming is one of the very important conservation method of the soil. This is basically taken up in the areas which is hilly. Broad flat steps or terraces are made on the steep slopes so that flat surfaces are available to grow crops. They reduce surface runoff and soil erosion. Intercropping. Intercropping is a process in which different crops are grown in alternate rows and are sown at different times to protect the soil from rainwash. In the similar manner, we have contour plowing. Here, plowing parallel to the contours of the hill to slope to form a natural barrier for water to flow down the slope. Now, when we talk about these shelter belts, in the coastal and dry regions, rows of trees are planted to check the wind movement. Through this wind movement, maximum of the upper soil cover they gets eroded, and by making these shelter belts we can protect the soil cover. Now let us know about water. Water is another very important resource. Nearly 3/4 of the Earth's surface is covered with water. It is therefore called the water planet. In the primitive oceans, the life began almost 3.5 billion years back. Even today, the ocean covers 2/3 of the Earth's surface and support a rich variety of plant and animal life. Let us now know about the fresh water that is present for the human consumption on Earth. Here you can see that the total water in the ocean is 97.5%. Out of that, only 2.5% of water is fresh. These fresh water in the forms of glacier, nearly 68.7% of water is present. And in the groundwater, it is 30.1% of that 2.5% what we are talking about the fresh water. And here permafrost is 0.8%. Now out of this, only 0.4% of surface and atmospheric water is available to us. These are in the form of freshwater lake for 67.4%, soil moisture is for 12.2%, atmosphere 9.5%, wetlands 85%, rivers 1.6%, and plants and animals they have 0.8% of water. Now let us know about the water cycle. This water cycle you have been learning since long. Fresh water, it is the total volume that remain constant. Its abundance only seems to vary because it is in constant motion, cycling through the ocean, the air, the land, and back again through the process of evaporation, precipitation, and surface runoff. When we talk about the problems of water availability, there is scarcity of water in many regions of the world. Most of the Africa, West Asia, South Asia, parts of Western USA, Northwest Mexico, parts of South America, and entire Australia are facing shortages in freshwater supply. Countries located in climatic zones are most susceptible to droughts. They face great problems of water scarcity. In this map, you can see that what would be the water stress level in the countries by the end of 2040. In seasonal or annual precipitation, or the scarcity is caused by overexploitation and contamination of water sources. Now let us know about the water conservation. Access to clean and adequate water sources is a major problem facing the world today. Discharge of untreated or partially treated sewage, agricultural chemicals, and industrial effluents must be avoided. When we talk about these, they pollute the water with nitrates, metals, and pesticides. Most of these chemicals are non-biodegradable and reach human bodies through water. Water pollution can be controlled by treating these effluents suitably before releasing them in water bodies. Water conservation. When water conservation is the issue, we have variety of ways to conserve the water as well. One of it is the water harvesting. Water harvesting is another method to save surface runoff. The canals used for irrigating field should be properly lined to minimize losses of water seepage. Here we can see that at least 1 inch of rainfall on a 2000 square feet of roof, we get nearly 1250 gallons of water. In this manner, we can just control the problems of the water scarcity. Sprinklers effectively irrigate the area by checking water losses through seepage and evaporation. In the similar manner, in dry regions with high rates of evaporation, drip or trickle irrigation is also very useful. The valuable water resources can therefore be conserved by adopting these means of irrigation. With this, we come to an end of this video. We will see again in the next video. Till then, thank you.